Happy New Year, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm Louise from Wildflower Wool, and welcome to our weekly knitting podcast. Today happens to be January 1st, the very first day of 2024, and it happens to be a Monday. So we're casting on a brand new project that you all voted for. So let's talk a little bit about what you were voting for. So tonight, the way tonight's gonna go is we're gonna chat for an hour. We're gonna talk about the yarn and what you voted for, what the winner was. I had a little bit of a kind of overview of my knitting from last year, and I have no idea where it went. So we're just gonna go with what I can remember off the top of my head. So I hope everybody has had a great holiday. Today was a very relaxing day for me. I spent the day with my granddaughter, so it was lovely. A perfect way to start off the new year. So this week's project is a sweater. My plan for 2024 is to start a sweater the first Monday of every month. And exactly a year from now, we will come back and we will see out of those 12 sweaters how many got finished, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I would do again, and if I would change anything. So let's see here. Um, sorry, my hair is bothering me. I just gotta fix it. It's gonna drive me bonkers for the whole hour. So who's here? Liz is here, Nikki's here, Alice, Donna, and Katie. Hello, happy new year, everybody. Did everybody have a great new year? Did anybody cast on something? A New Year's Eve cast on, a New Year's Day cast on. I did not, well, tonight I'm gonna start my new project is starting tonight. I did not start anything extra, which is a little surprising because sometimes I always sneak in some extra things. So let's talk about the yarn that you were all voting for this week's sweater. I did some stash diving this morning, and this is what I came up with. I know there's a couple of people who have been asking me about some of my yarn that I brought back from Norway when I went there, and I got to meet some lovely Norwegian knitters in person. We had such a fantastic vacation together. It was great. So this is some of the yarn that I got when I was over there. So ask. It's 100% Norwegian wool, sport weight, and what does it say on here? I think it was 314 meters, I think, in a ball. They're suggesting a 3 to a 3.5 millimeter needle. Um, and this came, I don't know if you can see this picture or not very well on the ball band. This came from a shop, Hillesvåg. Hillesvåg yarns. I'm probably not pronouncing that completely correctly, but it was a fantastic spot. It was a yarn shop. There was a mill there as well. I remember seeing upstairs we could see in, and they were doing they had a couple of machines going that we could see. Anyways, it was an amazing, wonderful spot, and it was right on the water. I'd definitely go back. This was we went there when we were in Bergen for the Fiber Festival. We went to the shop and it was amazing. Um, oh, okay. Elena's here. Elena's in Norway. So, hi, Elena. Ask means ash tree. According to Old Norse mythology, it was also the name of the first human man. Interesting. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay. So, there you go. Little history on this yarn. So, this was the one. I have a sweater quantity in this color. It's a gray. And I also have, there was a skein of white in with this. So I don't know what I don't know. I don't know why I bought the white to go with it. Add a little bit of color work, maybe a little stranded work somewhere, the cuffs around the cuff, possibly. I don't know if I'll use the white. I might. Actually, did have an idea this morning. Oh, wait, we'll talk about that in a minute. So this gray Norwegian yarn was one of the options. The other option is some Canadian wool. Some good old Briggs and Little. This is Durasport. I did a little bit of looking. So over Christmas, I had to rearrange my stash a little bit. And I found some bags of Briggs& and Little that, that I had put in my stash, and so I, pulled some of it out today. So there was enough Durasport to do a sweater. There was, this is the oatmeal colorway. Yes, this is oatmeal, and I also had a couple of balls of more of a brown, a darker brown. So this is a really fun colorway. It this is also a single ply. It could be you. This is the sock yarn. It's 80% wool, 20% nylon. So it is nice. I don't know if I have actually knit socks with this in the past or not, but it would be super, super durable. It is very rusticy, and that's what some people said, even from the picture. Well, maybe from the picture, or maybe because they know, Briggs and Little is a very rustic wool brand. Some people were saying they were voting for the ask because they said it looks softer. Some people said they had never seen this knit up, and so they would like to see it knit up. There were some diehard Briggs& and Little fans out there who were like, "Briggs& and Little all the way." A couple people said the kind of the opposite. They said they'd never seen Ask knit up, but they had knit with Briggs& and Little, so they were going with what they knew, so they voted for the Briggs& and Little. What else? There was a couple comments, people saying they thought the darker gray, I would wear that more. Possibly? I don't know. I think I could, well, I mean, look at what I'm wearing. Yeah, so probably the darker gray because it does almost look like a charcoal versus an oatmeal. So, um, yeah, so there was lots of good comments. So I added up all the all the voting everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube. And again, we had 106 votes. We always seem to be kind of right around, I think 106 might even have been last week's voting count that I had when I had added. That's what the votes total to. So out of 106 votes, um, it was definitely one-sided. It wasn't as close as it had been, and I actually thought it might have been a little more, um, the voting might have leaned more one way than it did. So it was really interesting to see what what you guys are all voting for here. So let's see. Hi, Sam. Oh, Linnell's here. Happy New Year. Tanya, how are you? Nice. Liz and Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Liz is giving me the drum roll. Okay. So the yarn that won, I think it was 66% of the votes for this week's sweater cast on, the first cast on of the year is, so either way, I'm going to have to get my ball winder and my Swift out and do a little bit of winding tonight. And the one I'm casting on for the sweater, very first project of 2024, is the Norwegian yarn. So I had honestly thought it would be a landslide for this because just because for most of us, this would be a different yarn, something different to cast on. And because a lot of you know that I do have, or I have had this in my stash for a little while. So I feel like it is the perfect time to start knitting with it. And yeah, but you know what? Briggs and Little, you know, some people just really, really like it. And some people were voting for it. So, anyways, it did not make the cut, but it was, it wasn't, it held its own, I guess, against something that I thought for sure would have maybe even gotten more votes than it did. So Briggs and Little, you can never count that out because it's a good, sturdy yarn, and it is always a reliable yarn. So um, let's see. So this is what I've got. So I don't know what I will do about the white. What I thought I might do is do the body in this gray and then stripe the sleeves. We were talking about that I don't know, a while ago, a few weeks ago, weren't we? About um there must have been, oh, shoot, what were we talking about? You guys will probably remember better than I will. About oh my gosh, I almost had it on the tip of my tongue. The name of a sweater that had the striped sleeves. Anyways, I thought that sounded like a really great idea. So I might just do that with the ball of white. Divide it in half and then stripe the sleeves. Thought that might be kind of fun. I see this as being a pullover, and yeah, I think I will get lots of wear out of this as a pullover. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast this on um top down. I'm thinking. I hadn't really thought too far because I wasn't really sure what yarn was actually going to be picked until just a few minutes ago. But I'm thinking top down, pullover, do the whole body, come back, pick up for the sleeves, and then strip the sleeves. I think that would be a good first project of the year. Yes, yes. Did you guys all see Sam and I on Saturday? We did a little reveal of all Sam's dishcloths. So that replay is up here on YouTube. If you didn't get to see it, you might want to scroll through and get some inspiration. It was a lot of fun. So anyways, this is it. This is what's getting cast on. I'm excited because I truly it is time that this gets cast on and turned into a lovely sweater. Um, so anyways, it feels nice. I mean, it does have a rusticy feel to it too. It if you are sensitive to wool, this probably would not be something you would want to wear right up against your skin, maybe. But I would say it's kind of middle of the road. It's softer. It's softer than the Briggs and Little. It's softer than a Lopi, but it does have a little bit of that rustic wool feel to it, which I really, really like. So I am super excited. Oh, Tanya, that's a good idea. Would you use the white as the ribbing? I could. I could. That is always striped sock. Oh, is that all it's called, Liz? Is that what the other sweater's called? Striped sock sleeve sweaters. Anyways. Yeah, I kind of think that would be fun. And with one skein, I think that would do the trick. Okay, apparently this ball band is not coming off here. So I will just leave this ball intact for the moment. So I'm excited. This is going to be the year of the sweater. I'm super excited to knit some sweaters. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what I knit this year. Now, seriously, you guys, I had a sheet of paper with me with everything kind of listed out, vanished into thin air. So I have probably just like randomly set it down on the kitchen counter or something. Anyways, we'll go by. I know the final numbers. So I went back through all of my Instagram posts for New Start Mondays because, as we know, my whiteboard kind of petered out at the end of June. I did 6 months on it, and then July to the end of the year, it got stuck in a corner and forgot about. So we're gonna try again this year with a brand new whiteboard and also Ravelry. So we this is gonna work this year. I have every confidence it is going to work this year. So I went through and I went through every New Start Monday, and and I knew I had done some extra baby hats, so I stuck those in. So I ended up with 63 cast-ons for last year. And I was really hoping throughout the year I wanted to keep it 50-50. Pretty much I didn't I had hoped never to go below the 50 mark, like having more whips than finishes. But I think sometimes that was kind of it, it fluctuated, I think, a lot. So, anyways, my number at the end was my finishes, that my percentage of finishes was 53%. So, I think the fact that I finished 4 Christmas stockings last week that helped get me over the finish line of having 50 in that above 50% finishes. So that was good. I can't remember what I had last year. I remember last year being surprised that I had finished as much as I had. So I think this year, I don't think I finished quite as much as I did last year. I didn't compare the numbers, but I wasn't like super shocked at the numbers. I was just happy that I was had my number was over 50%. So, um yeah, I'm that's fine. So this year is a brand new year, so I'm gonna see if I can maybe raise that up a little bit higher. I have a little bit of a plan. I have a plan. So we'll see. The first week, like I said, the first week of every month is going to be a sweater. The second week of the month, um, don't laugh when I say this, you guys, is going to be a pair of socks. My sock finishes were not that good for this year, but I also didn't have a whole lot of I didn't start a whole lot of socks this year. I seem to I've started a lot of sweaters this year and a lot of hats. I think those were the two um, biggest categories of things that I cast on this year. I think there was only two mittens, and one I actually finished last January, about the second week of the month. I cast on that blue. It was Drops Wish, and it was really fluffy and really cozy, cozy warm. And I wore those mitts all last winter, and they were wonderful. So, um, anyways, it was good. So mitts, I was surprised because I know I said before I don't seem to be able to finish mitts for whatever reason. So this year apparently I didn't start as many as I had thought. Um unless I happened to miss them and didn't add them in the count. That is possible too. But anyways, um it's I'm pretty happy with this year overall. I was over 50%. So even if I ended at 50-50, I'd be happy. I would probably be a little disappointed if I was under 50% finishes. But even if that happened one year, what do you do? It's all right. So anyway, I was happy with what I seem to have finished, and I'm excited for this new year. So a sweater the first week of the month, the second week of the month is going to be socks. The third week, so you'll see a progression. I'm starting big, then a little smaller, a little smaller, and a little smaller, with the hopes of trying to get all four projects done within the month. So sweater, socks, then something smaller like a hat, a cowl, maybe mitts. And then like the fourth week, something maybe even smaller again, like maybe that could be a stranded or a double knit pot holder. So I have a small project and that I can spend some time working on my sweater to try and get everything finished up. So yeah, maybe pot holders and dishcloths, and maybe if it's a dishcloth, that may be trying out a different pattern, a different technique, or something like pot holders, dishcloths would be a good kind of learning tool, right? I think that's what I want to say. So, no, Nikki, how did the blue mitts hold up over last winter? Fantastic, fantastic. They, um, I think and maybe we talked about that last year because they were really fluffy and they were that like coarse spun yarn, but they were really fluffy yarn. They held up amazingly well. Like I wore them every day during the winter and they were great. Absolutely great. I would knit them again in a heartbeat. Maybe that's what I need to do is make myself another pair in a different color. The yarn was fantastic. It was great. It was great to knit with. It was great to wear. They were warm. Love them. Love them. Um, yeah, oh my gosh, that's coming back to me now how I had knit with the drops pattern, and the pattern was kind of wonky. Something about was it the gusset increases? Anyways, I pulled it out and I just like winged it, did my own thing, right? Just a basic mitten. Yes, that's what I remember now from that. But the yarn was great. Absolutely love it. Um, yes. Oh, Mary says Happy New Year to you and all my knitting friends here. Yes. All right. This is a brand new start. I know New Year's resolutions, everybody kind of just rolls their eyes at those, right? Because yeah, It they don't always turn out the way we want, right? But there is something about that feeling of a fresh start. You can just collect yourself again and restart or reevaluate and carry on with what you love doing and stop doing other things. I think somebody posted somewhere on social media and they said about resolutions and how they always seem to be so hard and not fun, right? Like it's always, like cut out the sugar or cut down on coffee or exercise more, things that we think we need to do, not that we love to do. And whoever was writing this post, they said, but why not make our resolutions fun? Like say, I want to knit more. I want to I want to learn a new hobby. I want to do something fun and make that the resolution, right? And it's like, yeah, why that would be so much easier to keep, right? To say maybe my resolution is I want to try to knit 12 sweaters this year and see how far I get. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm excited for the new year. I always kind of like that feeling of starting over. So here we are. It is right now, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to kind of figure out a little bit my plan for my new starts, and this year is definitely going to lean heavily on stash yarn. As I was having, pulling things out to get ready for the holidays and getting the Christmas trees out of the basement and having to move so many totes of yarn. It was a little bit of a reality check to the size that my stash has grown over the last while. So I thought, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything crazy like I am going on like a yarn diet, or I'm not gonna buy any yarn for, the whole year or so many months or anything, because I've tried that and it is painfully hard. I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. So I am going to definitely try to use more of my stash. Like I really want to. So stash yarn is going to be a big thing this year. I definitely want to knit up a lot more items for charity. Things that I maybe will still even donate because I mean winter has just kind of started here. We had some snow yesterday and last night, but it's been pretty warm here. There hasn't been a whole lot of need for hats, mitts, and scarves yet. So hopefully, we're into January now. So January, February, March. I'm going to see if I'm going to hand knit, and I'm also going to use the circular knitting machine to do some cranking of hats and scarves and try some mitts on there. Apparently, you can do mitts on the smaller one as well. So I'm going to try and do that with some of my stash yarn, maybe some new yarn, and donate some of that maybe in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, just try to get a turnover of some of this yarn. So anyway, that is pretty much my plan. I mean, other sweaters, charity, stash. That's what I want to do. And socks. I feel like I don't know. I want to say I feel like I need to redeem myself on my sock knitting, but we should never feel like that, should we? We just knit whatever we feel brings us joy. But I feel I feel like for some reason, I don't know, socks. I want to knit more socks. So this is the year I'm going to try and do that as well because I got a bazillion balls of sock yarn, and that is not exaggerating all that much. So um I wanna see what I can do for socks because they would also be great presents for next Christmas, right? To give, everybody in my family socks. I always see Noelle from Knits and Pieces podcast, and every year she knits socks for her whole family. Adult men's socks down to little grandchildren size socks, and, like, every year she inspires me, and of course and then I never get the follow through, the momentum to actually do it. So maybe this year, if I do a pair every month, I just saw, did anybody see this, the Yarn Harlots post on Instagram today? She, and I know she's done this other years where she does her self-imposed sock yarn where it just takes 12 balls of sock yarn, puts them each into a little bag with pattern. I'm assuming she prints off the pattern and puts them into, she had them in brown paper bags in her picture today. And, oh, Diane saw it. Yeah, so then what, so and I know in the past, she's always just put them, like, on a shelf. In the beginning of the month, she just randomly picks a bag, and whatever it is, that's the yarn, that's the pattern she does for the month. Well, she said this year what she's gonna do, she's got the yarn and the pattern, and every day she's gonna knit 10 rounds on both socks. She's gonna cast on the pair, 2 socks, every day, knit 10 rounds in the morning on both socks. So by the end of the month, she will have a pair of socks. Like it's like she said, it's like doing an advent, but all year long. And then she will have 12 pairs of socks done. So I thought that sounded very, very smart. Probably something that I should probably steal that idea, but I won't. Probably do that. I will be a mad dash finishing my socks. I mean, let's be real. But anyways, I thought it was a good idea. So who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I could do, I could yeah, just ride on the yarn Harlot's coattails here with her sock knitting and be like, oh, maybe I should steal that idea and knit with her every morning and see how long I can keep that up for. I don't know. Anyways, I thought it was a great idea and a good way to use up some of your stash sock yarn too. So I'm just gonna take a peek here in the comments. We got tons of comments in here. Um, Sam said I was supposed to. Um, oh yes, yeah, yeah, you guys. So Sam was trying to do her 200 dish class. Well, she ended up at 206. I know she totally like 6 extra dish class. That's amazing, amazing. What is this? Oh, Liz said Ravelry is easier than. Oh, what's this? No white ribbon gets grubby. I would make a color work yoke instead. Oh, Elena, that's a good idea too. Color work yoke. Okay, so striped sleeves, color work yoke, or I could do like an accent of like ribbing around the cuff on the sleeves and the body. All really, really good ideas. Okay, I'm gonna have to sit and think on this a little bit. Do you guys have type in your ideas? I'll get to the end of the comments here in a second. Mary says, Louise, excuse me. Oh, thank you. Should I like to thank you for all the work you do for us? It means so much to me. This has been a distraction on the weeks I have treatment. Thanks for putting up with your sarcasm. Mary, you are always so funny. I love your comments and your stories. And I'm glad because I know those weeks of treatments can be rough. So it's nice to have something to look forward to. For sure. Um, yes, that's how I ended up starting to do embroidery. So anyways, yeah, that's another story for another day. But anyways, Nikki, how are you doing, Nikki? How did the oh yes, the Blue Mits, we talked about that one. Sam, Tanya. Oh, today's your 14th anniversary of learning how to knit. So you totally did the January 1st as like a resolution to do something fun. And look where it has taken you 14 years later. I love that. I love that. Hi, Carol. Your friend's resolution last year was to join the Procrastinators Club. They have yet to meet. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Um, I think we should, like, what is something fun? And it doesn't even have to be, like do something every day, like, or I don't know. Somebody said, and I love this idea about doing yoga. And I am like this could have been they could have been talking exactly about me, right? You guys have known for how many years have I been talking about I want to do yoga because I'm in love with the idea of doing yoga. So I go out and like that's what this article, I think it was in a magazine, and they said, how everybody goes out. Everybody goes out and you buy a new yoga mat, you get a yoga bag, you get all the cute clothes, a water bottle, like you do all the things and you sign up to a membership at a gym or a yoga studio or whatever. And then you go twice and it never happens, right? Because you're trying to say, I'm going to do yoga 3 times a week for an hour every day, 3 times a week. And that is such a huge commitment. And then this lady who was doing the article, she said, I do yoga for, I think she said like a minute a day or 10 seconds a day or something. She says, I get out of bed, I stand beside my bed, and I think she said I do like the downward dog pose right there beside my bed. I hold it for 10 seconds. Then I go to the bathroom and I brush my teeth, and I'm like, yeah, I just did yoga. I'm a yoga person. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to do like some big thing. You just got to do yoga, right? And a little bit is a first step. So, um, I may keep that in mind when I try to do yoga. So we should try to, I don't know, come up with some things that are realistic, right? And not make them stressful, but make them fun. And then be like Tanya, like 14 years later, you're still doing what you had decided to do. That's so fun. Let's see. Oh, Elena says I can. Oh, if you want, we can help you use Stash by cheering every time you cast on from Stash. Okay, I'm totally up for that. Sam says, "Are you going to teach me new projects?" Most definitely, Sam. On Thursdays, we most definitely can do that. Oh, Tony says, months that have 5 weeks, I'm going to pull from my oldest wood pile and focus on finishing that. What a great idea. Yes, to get some of those whips finished up. I don't know what I'm going to do with all my whips. I had said that I might have done kind of a whip parade, but to be honest, I did not get through all my stuff because I ended up spending a good chunk of the time with my granddaughter. So that trumped cleaning up my yarn rooms. So I will we'll see. We may still do that later on in January when I get to that because that would be fun because I need to get some needles back. I need to get some needles back. Um, because casting on this sweater tonight could be a little bit of a challenge. I have to go through my needles and see what I can find. Katie says, do a Latvian braid before the ribbing. Ooh. You mean, oh, like with the white? Yes, Latvian braids are really nice. What did I knit that on? A pair of mitts, maybe? And I know when I was doing it, I just thought, "Oh my gosh, this is like the newest, funnest, bestest thing in ever in the whole entire world." And I thought I was gonna put a Latvian braid on everything from here on it. And then, of course, I never did. But a Latvian braid, I love that idea. Katie, that's awesome. Okay. I'm gonna put a braid on that on this sweater somewhere with the white. Wendy, happy new year to you too. Liz, I am determined to work down my whip pile. We will see how long that lasts. I know it's hard. It's a little tricky because the new starts, the new yarn. You see people posting things online of new projects, and it is all so tempting. But even if you make a little dent in your whips, Liz, that's a good start, right? Hi, Sally. Happy New Year. Oh, Sam's got 4 more dishcloths on the needles. Okay, you cannot stop this woman and her dishcloths. That's amazing. Belly dance. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my belly dancing days with Amber. Hi, Mary. I like color. Oh, you like the color work yoke idea. So many traits. There is, isn't there? And I was just looking. That's how I spent New Year's Eve last night. Had my granddaughter over and a friend, and we were going through some old knitting books, and there was some stranded colorwork patterns, and there were some gorgeous ones. Huh? Okay, you guys. Maybe that's a sign. I was looking at stranded colorwork patterns last night. I've got this one skein of white today. Maybe the striped sleeve idea will be put on the shelf again. Maybe. Mary, that you might be right. A yoke might just be what I need to do. Oh, Nikki, what's this? Nikki's got a good idea. I'm knitting to 15 minutes of drop spinning every morning. That sounds so fun. Um, if I'm too sick one day or something comes up, I'm fine. I'll pick it up the next day. 15 minutes a day. And that's right. 15 minutes a day. And if you do it 5 days a week, that's, like, way more spending than you probably did this week or this year, right? That's a great goal. That's a great goal. I'm a one sock knitter, so, like, one at a time, Wendy? Yeah. I I typically, I am too, but you know what? Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need to shake things up a bit, and maybe when I cast on socks, maybe I need to divide my ball into 2, and I need to do 2 at a time. Maybe that's the key. Maybe that is just that one little tweak that I may all of a sudden be like, "Oh my gosh, this is, like, life changing in my sock knitting," right? Maybe. It wouldn't hurt, right? I could try it, and if I don't like it, I can go back to knitting one sock at a time. But that hasn't typically worked the best for me, so maybe 2 at a time is what I need to do. Sally, you're finally knitting again, and it feels great. That's wonderful. No anxiety over my craft room being a big mess. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It is a organized mess, and, honestly, I can find stuff better when it's a mess. It's when I clean up, I can't find a thing. Everything people may walk into my yarn room and they may be, "Oh my gosh, how can you find anything?" But I know where exactly where everything is. You move it around and it totally messes me up. Yes, stash celebration. I know, stash celebration. That would be fun, wouldn't it? One finish, one sock. Oh, sure, Sam, just type in your question. Hi, Deborah. Happy New Year. Oh, you've been off this past week and made 4 dishcloths, 3 hats, and part of a crocheted hanging lantern. That sounds super cool. Okay, you have made the most of your week off. That's exciting. 4 dishcloths, 3 hats, and a crocheted hanging lantern. Well done. It's kind of a bummer that we have to go back to work tomorrow, though, isn't it? It's gonna get in the way. You're just like in a groove here, and now you got to go back to work. That's a bummer. Ah. Wow, okay. So does anybody else have any kind of do we wanna use the resolution or a goal or something you wanna work towards? Either something like learning to do something, like have you like try socks for the first time or knit your first sweater or try brioche or stranded knitting or intarsia, something that would be exciting that you haven't done before. There's all kinds of things. Or maybe something that you just haven't done in a really, really long time, or something that you want to do more of, something that you did last year that you enjoyed and you would like to do more of it. And in my case, that would be cables. Because if you ask me what are my favorite knitting techniques in the past without skipping a beat, I would tell you stranded color work and lace. And I don't think I knit hardly any lace at all last year. A couple things. I had a vest that was lace that did not get finished. Um, but nothing really, really lacy. Like really detailed pattern lace. But I should do that. But I did do a little bit of cable knitting. And typically, again, my first response is always like, yeah, I like cables, but I'd rather do color work instead. But then when I do cables, I'm always like, "Oh, this is so much fun. Why don't I do more of this?" So I think cables might be something that I work into my projects a little more often. And I would like to do some like really intricate, beautiful lace, like a really gorgeous lace shawl. So that maybe, and I always think of lace in March. For some reason, for me, March is a lace knitting month because it's, April is spring. So March is the perfect time to do a lace shawl, have it finished for April, can wear it when the weather gets nice. That's always my thought process. So maybe April, March, April, I may do a really, that may be the cast on for like a really, um, what's the word? I don't know. A really fun. We'll go with fun. Lace project. Oh, Mary wants to do illusion knitting. Okay, did Sam's dishcloths inspire you, Mary? Illusion knitting is very fun. Wendy, my goal is to make your first sweater. That is super, super exciting. That is very fun. I think once you get your first sweater done, hopefully it will inspire you and you will just cast on and just keep making them. I think people get a little um what's the word? Concerned or hesitant about sweaters because they have to fit and or just the thought that there's such a large project and there's so many balls of yarn. But really, once you get going on them, it's you should yeah, hopefully you'll never look back and you'll just keep on going. That's so fun. I'm excited. Okay, you guys, I actually have some more knitting to talk to you about. I can show you a little bit of knitting. So last week's project was the um my Christmas ornament that I opened for Christmas, and it was two little mini skeins to do a mini mitt. I was so hopeful that I would get it done. The curse of the mitten strikes again, and it was only a mini ornament this time. Um, there it is with these wild looking DPNs on here. But it has started, and the yarn is so pretty. It's this gorgeous variegated pink, and the yarn is so gorgeous. It's lovely to work with. So, so soft. Um, this was that yarn dyer from Quebec, Cactus, something cactus. Anyways, it's really nice. The yarn is really, really nice. It's really fun. So I am just ready to like start thumb gusset increases on this little thing. So this could possibly be my first finish. Um, if I sit and work on it tonight and tomorrow, it could probably be finished. So we'll see if it gets finished. Hopefully, I guess I should just sit and work on it and get it done. So this is that's the yarn all wound up. Anyways, so it started. It could be my very first finish. I've got a few things that are close. I have a couple shawls that I've been working on over Christmas, just picking up and doing like 4 rows on it at a time and then putting it down and picking it up again. So I've made a little bit of progress on those. So those should be hopefully some finishes. Can slide those in amongst all of the other things. 2 weeks ago, you guys you voted on the nice bright, the orange, pink, um, white, orange, pink, white, and yellow. Um, that I was making a hat. Well, remember I said I was wanting a new hat for the new year? I got it finished. There's the top. Okay. So there it is. It is just like a worsted, not a well, it's a heavy worsted, so maybe like an Aran weight. And there it is. All finished. Fits wonderfully. Um, so this one's finished. So I'm all set. I showed it to somebody, I don't know, yesterday, a couple days ago, and they said it reminded them of candy corn. Which I am like, now since they said that, I'm like, it totally does, doesn't it? Oh, Kim, you want to make one tiny sweater a month for an advent. Oh my gosh, how fun. That would be perfect. That would be a great goal. Deborah, the crochet hanging lantern pattern is boho summer lampion. Okay, nice. Shawls are good for sock yarn. Yes, they are. They are a good way to use up sock yarn. So when I yeah, what if my sock knitting mojo leaves me again, I can keep at least I can work through some socks stash and um yeah, and make shawls, right? Oh, you Wendy, you know what? Don't be nervous. It's only yarn. And my biggest advice is check your gauge. And once you get the sweater started, measure it against a sweater that you already own. So, if you're doing it top down, try it on or measure once you get to the arm divide. You only have, this much done. Not a whole lot, right? I mean, a chunk of knitting, but it's better to pull this out than the whole sweater. Measure it, like lay it on your bed, put it on a waist yarn so you can spread it all out. Measure it, try it on, or just lay it on top of a sweater that you like to wear and just check it. Like don't be scared, right? Don't be in denial and just think I like have blinders on and just be like, I'm gonna follow the pattern and I'm just gonna knit it. Don't do that because that doesn't always work and you may have to make some adjustments to the pattern. So just check it every so often to make sure that you're on track and so there's no surprises when you get it done and then find out it's way too big or way too small. So like really, and I know some people say, oh, they just want to keep knitting, and you don't want to take the 10 minutes it takes to slip your stitches on a waist yarn. But truly, that is my best advice for you to make sure you get a sweater that fits because if it doesn't, right off the bat, you count that as kind of your working gauge swatch, pull it back out, go down a needle size, go a smaller size, go a larger size, whatever you need, and get yourself on track and just count it as all part of the process, that you have to. Yeah. You just gotta do that. Sam, what is it? Sam Loser still going to pick me up on Thursday. Possibly. Remind me Thursday morning. Yes, I will. Yes, I will try. I will try and remember Sam. Message me again in a couple of days. All right. Oh, Mary, that's cute. Thanks. You know what? I liked the colors. It's 100% acrylic. It doesn't have a lot of drape or anything to it, but you know what? Um, it's fun, and it'll be fun to wear on a dark, gloomy winter day, right? We always need something with lots of color on those days. Oh, thanks, Tanya. I like how that turned out. Um, Louise, Cheryl mentioned that on Saturday. Um, what was that, Louise? What was I talking about that Cheryl mentioned? Um, okay, that may come to me or type it in the comment again. Elena, oh, your shuttles are empty, but I'm nearly at the end of the warp, so I have no idea how much yarn to wind on. Oh, okay. Hmm. That is always a bit of a guess, isn't it? Um, but you're almost at the end of the warp. Well, I don't know. I guess you're just gonna have to make a best guess here, aren't you? Oh, Mary, it says reminds you of Christmas. Oh, was Cheryl the one who said candy corn? Okay. All right. There you go. Yeah, it does. It does. So now that's what I always think of every time I look at it. Mary, the hat reminds me of Christmas ribbon candy. Most definitely could too, right? I know. Very fun. I like it. Maybe, oh, your daughter will rethink having hat for your granddaughter in those colors. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to ask her again. Show her this one and see what she thinks because I do have a little bit left over. Nice and bright. Perfect for, yes. Yes, a gloomy New Year's, yes. I know, it's nice to have something bright that you can pull on. So, if it's actually chilly this week, I don't know, I haven't even looked to see what the weather forecast is for this week. So, I may just wear this to work. Um, yeah, just have something bright and fun this week. Anyways, what else? Oh, I did. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, you guys. Okay. You guys all know I'm not very good at keeping secrets, and I just looked down and I saw 2 balls of yarn and I thought I could very easily just pretend they weren't there, but I always tell you guys everything. And okay, so how long did I just go on about stash knitting and that was going to be a big focus for me and I wanted to use up my stash, blah 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 blah. And then I look down here beside me and this story starts out, so I went to Michael's. This is how my stash grows. I need to stay out of Michael's. I need to stop going to Little Red Mitten. I need to stop going to Knit Stitch. I need to stay home and knit from my stash is the moral of this story. But a couple days ago, I was out and about. I was doing some errands, probably going to the grocery store, and Michael's happens to be both of them happen to be beside a grocery store. So it's very convenient just to do a job you have to do, stock up on groceries, and then go do a little fun thing, like just take a little walk. And lots of time, don't laugh at me when I say this, you guys, but I truly go into Michael's so I can walk up and down every aisle, and that counts as my walk, and I can get my steps in, which maybe is a cover story for going in to buy yarn, but I count it as exercise. So, anyways, this yarn in this colorway, every time I would go into Michael's, I would see this green and white, and I would see it on the shelf, and I would just think to myself, "Oh, I love that." Like, every time I saw it, it would just make me smile. And I saw it, and I thought, "You know what? I'm just going to buy." I don't know if I was thinking I was gonna buy a ball or 2 and just, make scarves out of it or something. Well, anyways, it ended up being on clearance. This colorway was on clearance. I don't even know what the colorway is. Um, Moss Swirl. So I bought 4 or 5 bottles of it because it was on clearance, which means it's never going to be, it's gone, right? If it's on clearance, they must not be making this colorway. How can they not make this colorway? Isn't it like perfect? Like, what do they call it? Cinnamon swirls? Like, it doesn't it just look like a peppermint candy, like at Christmas time? I don't know. I just love the look of it. So I bought yeah, I think it was 4 or 5 balls of the green and to do something with. And Liz, of all the places you could walk, stay out of Michael's. I know. I could go to the grocery store and walk, but that is just really not as much fun. And then they had this black, and this black was on clearance too. And there was only one ball of this. So, and I actually know what I'm going to do with this. I am going to crank this on the circular knitting machine and make a drop stitch infinity scarf out of this. And there's lots of yarn in here, so I'm thinking I may have some left over that maybe could do like a headband or something. I don't know. Anyways, um, so yes, I like after I should have started with this, right? Instead, this just makes it seem doubly bad after I just talked about how big my stash is and I want to get rid of it and I need to use it. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I went to Michael's. Oh well, that is the story of my life. That is what I do. So that is that. So I did buy a little bit of extra yarn, but I am going to also say I bought this a couple days ago, so it was in December, and I'm just going to say that this is going to be my last yarn purchase for a little while. I'm going to try not to buy too much more. I want to try and keep track of what comes in and goes out, and hopefully that will just get me to focus on using the stash. We'll see. Who knows? I'm going to buy yarn. We all know that, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, oh, Sam said our hats hard. No, they're not hard. Not hard at all. And Asa also challenged you, Sam. Did you see that on the Facebook comments? To a hat a month. So 12 hats for the year. So you can think about that. What is this, Sam? You were scared of doing hats. I think hats are so hard to do. No. It can't get much easier than a hat, Sam. Yarn therapy is always good. It is good, Wendy. It is good. Um, but yeah, I think I need to try to think like yoga therapy would be good for me too. Hi, Deborah. Oh, that Karen yarn. I know. That's what I knit 2 of those hats with. Is it really? Oh my gosh, was it actually I mean, they have so many different Karen cakes and they're also lovely. Was it one of the cinnamon swirl ones? I've never actually knit it up, so I don't know how wide the stripes are or anything, so I'm excited to play around with it. And that looks like sweater. I know. I know. Wouldn't this be fun? I just love this. I can't believe they're just continuing it. I need to work in like a yarn at a yarn company, have some input on what they get rid of and what they keep, right? There will be like a whole new like the market will be flooded with orange, green, and yellow yarns. The pinks and the purples will be they will be the ones that are slowly phased out. Yeah, I don't think that would go over so well with it. Stay safe. Oh, Wendy, you're heading out. Well, Wendy, have a happy start to the new year and keep us updated on your sweater progress. Susanna, you're making, crochet convertible blanket bag using Bernat cotton cakes. Oh, Bernat cotton cakes. They're really nice to knit with. I like them. They're nice and soft. Um, oh, Sam has accepted the 12 hat challenge, Asa. Fantastic. Most definitely. Most definitely, Sam. Um, just figure out how you want to knit around a 16-inch needle with some DPNs to decrease the crown, or do you want to tackle magic loop and then you don't need to worry about DPNs? So you decide, or we can try them both ways and then you figure out which way you actually like doing your hat the best. Oh, would that make a blanket? These balls, Katie? I wonder because there's a lot of yardage on here, right? Like there's um let me see. So it says it's a size 4 medium, like a worsted weight. There's 227 grams. So this is like two balls in one. And what did I say? I got four or five, maybe four. Maybe I got four balls of this, and the fifth ball was the black. So four balls of this, which is really like eight balls. 800-gram ball. So that's how I have to, but there's an extra, yeah, so there's a lot of yardage in here. What is the actual 407 yards, 372 meters in here. So not a, but it would make a nice blanket, I'm sure. Karen cakes are not conducive. Oh, but okay, so Kim is not the, but I wonder if this colorway is, if this was on clearance. Right? But they do or do they still have this one, the moss? I don't know, maybe it was just the one store that I was in is clearing them out. That would make me happy because I was a little disappointed because what if I really like it? So this is the thing, when you buy it on clearance and you really like it and you decide you want more, you are out of luck. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do a little looking, or yeah, who knows? Or maybe this was just an end of like a dye lot they wanted to get rid of, and they have new dye lots coming in. Maybe that's it. That would be exciting. Then I could always get more. Tanya says, for every 100 grams out of stash, I reward myself with $1. This is my yarn budget with no exception. With exceptions to yarn events. What a great idea. So you're paying yourself to knit your stash to then to go buy new yarn. I love that idea. And that's just a little motivation. Sometimes just doing something like that just makes you want to keep going, right? That is fun. I love that. So that's a great idea. Um so Deborah says you did do okay, the cinnamon swirl cakes, and they didn't take a lot of yarn to do the hat. I'm gonna do scarves and mittens with the rest of the 2 cakes. That's exciting. So I should have some left over too. Oh, okay, Kim said it's still regular price on your website. Kim, that makes me so happy. So maybe it's not gone. Maybe it is just, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, that makes me super happy. That makes me really happy because I really like this colorway. Oh, Susanna, that's the link to the pattern that you mentioned earlier. Okay, fantastic. Oh, super exciting. Well, there you go. So maybe my yarn is not discontinued after all. Okay, now I want to go knit it up and see if I like it, and then I can go buy more of it. That's wonderful. Okay, well, you guys, it is 9 o'clock. I need to go. I need to go find some needles. I need to wind this up. I need to go find needles, do a gauge swatch. I'm thinking I like Mary and Elena's idea of doing some kind of color work around the yoke. I don't know if it'll be super crazy or just do something really simple. Um, I'm gonna think about. I'm gonna go pull out those books that I was looking at last night and see what I can find in there. Oh, Sam, I didn't answer your question. I don't know what about the hats. Can I help you with hats? Of course, it's easy. There's yeah, cast on, knit, do some ribbing. Easy, 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 easy. Trust me, you'll be whipping out hats just like you are dishcloths. Oh, Susanna says it depends on the store, and if we find any, we should purchase it and send it to Louise. I know, just stock up my stash on this on the moss green swirl, right? That's funny. Well, I'll have to look on the website too because yeah, maybe it was just that one store that was who knows? Maybe I just need to go to Michael's and ask what the deal is, right? Do you know, are you getting more of this? Or do I have to go source it from other stores? Anyways, you guys, this is so fun. I can't believe that we are at the very start of a brand new year. I have a brand new whiteboard, literally a clean slate. I'm going to take the plastic off it. It has only sat there for about 3 months. And tonight I'm going to take off the plastic and I'm going to get it all started. I'm going to put this sweater on here. I am going to go put this on Ravelry. And because tonight's the night, I'm going to keep up with Ravelry. That is my goal for the year. Every year for like however and ever, um, I always say I'm going to do Ravelry, and it's kind of a hit or miss thing. But this is the year. This is the year. This is the year. It's going to happen. So, you guys, thank you so much for voting for this. I am really excited to get this cast on because I also feel like another trip to Norway is in order. And that would only be perfect to be able to go back to Norway wearing a sweater with the yarn that I purchased from the previous trip, right? So we'll see. Maybe I can work on fitting another trip somewhere in towards the end of the year. No, it was about circular needles. Oh, Sam, I didn't see it. A circular needle, 16-inch is what you need for circular needles. Unless you want to do magic loop, and then a 40-inch length would be a good length. Katie, oh, it makes a round blanket. Oh, that's the pattern that you put in. All right, well, fantastic, you guys. I am going to go see what I can find for needles, and I am going to look for some patterns. So stay tuned. Watch on Instagram, and you'll see hopefully some updates on this. And then we'll be back here again next week. So next week's going to be socks, you guys. Send me good vibes. Send me. I'm going to be like prepping myself all week to keep on track with this sweater and to channel some sock knitting vibes for the beginning of this year. So everybody have a great rest of your week. Jocelyn and I will be back here Thursday night, so we're going to be chatting Thursday night here. And then, of course, the Fiber Friends are Saturday morning, and then we'll be back here again Monday. So lots of opportunities for you guys to sit and knit, and we can all do some chatting. Have a great week. Happy New Year. And I will chat to you all soon. Good night, everybody.